Today I'm going to show you how to retouch and smooth skin in Adobe Photoshop by using frequency separation. So to do that, we're going to mess around with a little bit of blur and also the clone stamp tool as well. So to get us started, just drag and drop the image that you're going to use into Adobe Photoshop, and I'm using this image from Wikipedia Creative Commons, which is a free file source online. So with your background layer selected, press Ctrl and J and then J again to make 2 copies of your original image. Make the top one invisible and select the middle layer so it looks like that. Next, go over to Filter, Blur, and select Gaussian Blur. So the idea is just to blur out all of the skin, and don't worry about removing the texture because we're going to add that back in a little bit. So the radius is about 8 for this picture. It looks pretty good to me. Do have a mess around with it, but just don't go too far so you can't see the image at all. And then once you're happy, just hit OK. Next, make layer 1 copy visible and select the layer. Then head over to Image and select Apply Image. Have the layer as layer 1, which is the blur layer. Leave the source as the normal image, it'll be the name of your image. The channel as RGB. The blending mode as subtract, the opacity at 100%, the scale at 2, and the offset at 128. And this will be the same for every single image that you use this effect on. So just hit OK. Next, change the blend mode to linear light. So what that's done is it's created the first image, or created 2 copies of the first image and separated them. So now we've got the base blur layer and also we've got the texture layer as well. So if I select both of them by holding Control and then by pressing Control and G, it creates a group. And if you make that invisible, you shouldn't really see any difference between the two, but it just means that we can make edits on both of the separate layers, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So open the group back up and select the bottom blur layer. On the left hand side, select the lasso tool and just make a circle around areas that you want to add a little bit of extra blur to. So go to Filter, Blur, and then Gaussian Blur again. Now I changed the radius to sort of about 5, and what we're going to do is press Ctrl and F to add 5 on top each time. So I'll show you what I mean. Just hit OK first of all, and you can see if you press Filter again that you've got it in the top, Gaussian Blur, Ctrl and F. So that's what we're going to use to fill inside the lasso selection. So press Ctrl and F and you can see that it starts to blur out a little bit more, and just keep hitting F until it starts to look pretty good for you, and just make a couple of selections all around the face and make them as big as possible until the skin is completely smooth. And I'm going to do that now and then speed it up so you can see what I'm doing. So once you've done that, just press Ctrl on the keyboard and select the 2 layers together, and then press Ctrl and G just to create a group so you can see the difference from the original. So now you can see that this is the blurred edited image, and if I just turn that off you can see the original, so you can see that it's a lot smoother, but you can still see a lot of the texture in the face. Now we're going to work on the lines under the eyes, and we're just going to try and lighten them up a little bit, and to do that we're going to be messing around with the clone stamp tool. So select layer 1 copy, and then on the left hand side select the clone stamp, or just press S on the keyboard. Now I'm just going to zoom into one of the eyes by holding Alt and scroll, and you want to make a selection of nearby which is a little bit lighter, just to lighten up these dark areas. So if you hold Alt, you'll see you'll get the plus sign, and then select a lighter area and just touch it up just a little bit, and changing the selection each time as you go. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a mess around with this, and then I'll fast forward it and you can see what it looks like in the end. So as you can see, just by turning that on and turning it back off, we've lightened up the eyes and got rid of some of the wrinkles, which just makes it a little bit smoother, but we've maintained some of the lines, so obviously you can see the detail in the texture as well. And just by changing them about, you can see what we've done there. Now there is a couple of other things that you can add to it. You can add a layer mask on top if you just wanted to get rid of a bit more of the blur. So I'll just show you what I mean. Just press the layer mask option, which is the camera next to FX, press B on the keyboard for your brush tool, and then make sure that you've got it selected as black. And then if you just zoom in to the face or wherever and just paint black, what this is going to do is it's just going to go over the blur or get rid of the blur and then show the image that is underlying. So it'll just make it just sparkle a little bit more and look a little bit better. And you can do that like around the mouth, and you can do it around the eyes as well, just to make it look a little bit more clearer. But that's how you use frequency separation to retouch skin in Adobe Photoshop. I hope you like this tutorial, guys. Do not be a pencil, and please like, share and subscribe to my channel.